My father grew up on a peanut farm in Asia with no floor, and now his son is running for president. That is the immigration story that we have to be able to share with the American people.
Now! With promises of grand month for every American, Andrew Yang is definitely not your parents' president candidate. But his unconventional campaign seems to be paying off because he just pulled ahead of a whole bunch of candidates that weren't expecting it. I'm just saying, stuff's happening.
Yep.
Please welcome back Andrew Yang.
I'm excited.
They're going wild
too.
for you over there. That group over there is.
And over here, too.
Get these guys right here.
I mean, it is kind of fabulous. You know, you're polling as high as 8%. But not long ago, the Washington Post ran a very dismissive story about you called Random Man Runs for President. You know, I mean,
not very nice.
No, it wasn't very nice. And it really sort of pooped on the idea that every American can run for president.
Yeah.
You know, and it made it sound like that wasn't a good idea. So are you surprised now that a momentum is building and by the reception you're getting from folks?
I'm thrilled with the reception we're getting around the country. And I just like to point out there's no way a random man could run for president because the average American's living paycheck to paycheck, so it's not like they can quit their job and decide to run for office.
Don't take that.
I had a little bit of savings.
You had some savings.
Yeah.
And a very, very understanding spouse.
But also, for a random man running for president, you're actually polling higher than the senator in California, and you're also from California. You're polling higher than Kamala Harris in California. That is a pretty impressive feat at this point.
Thank you, Megan.
You're running. I love an unconventional campaign. I just do. You're not wearing ties. You're crowd surfing. By the way, Abby and I would like to join you at some point. It looked like so much fun. But you're reaching people who are not obsessed with cable news. Look at you. Not obsessed with Twitter. How have you gotten people, and how are you going to continue to get people who maybe don't know you as well as they do Biden and Sanders and Warren to check your name at the box?
I think we're doing so well, Megan, because we're talking about problems that Americans see around them every day. The fact that 30% of our stores and malls are closing because of Amazon, and Amazon's paying zero in taxes in return. And when I say that to Americans around the country, they see it around them. And the fact that we can build an economy that works for us, that vision will help address the problems that got Donald Trump elected in the first place. And Americans are very smart. We understand what's going on around us.
So you're having a ton of fun, and you've made it more fun for us, too, to watch, because campaigns aren't always fun and games. And for you, it always isn't fun and games. Bear with me. Last week, you came under fire by a former employee who worked for your testing company. This was back in 2007. She says after she came back from her honeymoon, you said she wouldn't work as hard because she started this new chapter in her life, and then you let her go. Where did this come from? Is there any truth to that?
There is zero truth to it, I'm happy to say. I've had so many phenomenal women leaders that have elevated me and my organizations at every phase of my career. And if I was that kind of person, I would never have had any success, which is right. I mean, I'm like most every other human being where if someone gets married, I'm happy for them.
So she made the whole thing up?
Yeah, she did, and it pained me when I saw it because I did work with her.
And she got fired?
And she did get let go, and it was because of absolutely nothing to do with her marital status, that's for sure.
Right. Okay. You're being very diplomatic.
Well,
About why she was let go, and that's all right. So let's
no, I mean, I'm not here to, you know.
Of course not.
I mean,
let's go to this topic, though, because as a comedian person, I was interested in this story because you came out in support of Shane Gillis. This is a guy who they found in his past, not recent past, actually, that had made some anti-Asian remarks that were not funny, and they dumped him from Saturday Night Live, but you backed him up, and you're Asian. So tell us about that.
He actually insulted me personally, used a racial epithet about me.
About you.
Individually. And so I reacted like most people would, which is like, what the heck is this? Who is this person? And then my wife and I settled down and watched some of his comedy and tried to figure out whether we thought he was evil or whether he was something else.
Yeah.
And watching his work, I thought that he was a still figuring it out comedian who told some offensive jokes. And that to me was not something that someone should lose their job over. And so as the person who was personally called out, I thought it was my place to say, look, I don't think this person should lose his job, and I was the person insulted, so we should use this as an opportunity to become a little bit more understanding and forgiving as a country, because right now we're in this time where we're, in my mind, unduly punitive and vindictive
And no
about
sense of
misstatements.
humor.
And no sense of humor. I mean, he's a comedian,
So
too.
the comedy removal services are out there, you know? And the other thing about you that I like, I think you're funny because you do things like, like you're wearing this thing that says math because you're Asian. It's like a stereotype. So he goes for it. And what else did you do?
And there's a math hat right there.
It's a math hat right now.
There they are.
I just want to say, math is an acronym. It stands for Make America Think Harder. And that's what we have to do. We have to let our fellow citizens know that it's not immigrants causing economic problems around the country. It's technology and automation. We're in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution. And we have to wake up to that set of challenges.
A lot of people don't think it's funny, though. You say, oh, I'm Asian, so I know a lot of doctors. I got it. I get it. But a lot of people don't get that. They think, what is he doing?
But on the flip side, I was having dinner with a bunch of conservatives last week, and we were saying that you're the only person that seems like you're having a really good time out there. And to bring positivity and levity, especially in this moment, is something to be lauded, I believe.
I try to do it every day.
And now since the last time you were here, I've been a little obsessed. I don't know if you heard about it. With
yes, she loves you.
With your proposals about universal basic income, a freedom dividend. So I had a conversation with a friend of mine who said, perhaps it shouldn't be a cash thing. Maybe it should be a dividend so that everyone gets, because he loves the idea. He just feels that we would all do better if we supported these companies that would begin to pay taxes. We support them because they need us to keep going. And you have a different groove. So is there room for it to blossom, this idea?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the freedom dividend, $1,000 a month, it's a new foundation for us all.
Right.
But we can do many things on top of it.
Yes.
And I talk about the work that my wife does at home with our two boys, one of whom is autistic. We have to build an economy that works for her and caregivers around the country. We have to start expanding the way. Oh, yeah. I miss them when I'm on the road, which is an awful lot. Thank you. But we have to redefine our own success because we have this GDP measurement that's driving us off a cliff while we're getting more anxious and depressed. And even our life expectancy is going down. So if we redefine our economic measurements to correspond to how we're doing and then lay a real foundation with this freedom dividend, then we can start moving in the direction you're describing.
I gotta ask this question. Why do you think no one on either side or in the middle has embraced this idea that companies that make their bones in our country should participate and help us participate in our growth? Why do you think the Republicans, the Democrats, the Independents, nobody is saying, hey, that is a great idea, and we should all be focusing on why did all these holes appear and suddenly nobody's paying taxes but us? I mean, why do you think that's not?
I think you know the answer, Whoopi, which is that our government's been bought and sold by these companies. And so if you have people whose money is beholden to various corporate donors or whatnot, then the last thing they want to do is call out how messed up a system we have.
Right.
If a $1 trillion tech company like Amazon can pay less in taxes than everyone in this room.
So you know you're not going anywhere right now, right? Stay right there. We'll be back with more with Andrew Yang. We're back with Andrew Yang. Megan.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so you joke a lot about math, but recent polls show that you are only one of 2 Democratic candidates who are actually getting 10% of Trump voters. That's very impressive. It's actually a really big statistic. What do you think you're gaining and what message you're giving that so many Trump supporters are coming to you?
Well, if you look, Donald Trump called out a lot of the economic problems and struggles in these communities. If you go out to the industrial Midwest, a lot of them have never recovered from the loss of manufacturing jobs. And we need a real set of solutions for that set of problems. But I'm thrilled to have 10% or more of Donald Trump voters who are supporting my campaign, because that means when I am the Democratic nominee, we win the whole thing in 2020.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Nancy Pelosi has started, the impeachment inquiry, and you didn't think it was a good idea. Why not? And Trump thinks that some people say that he's welcoming it. Do you think that's true, or is he just making that up, as usual?
I am on board with the decision to impeach Donald Trump.
Yes.
Because at some point, if you literally are calling foreign leaders and asking them for political help in return for releasing aid that Congress had already authorized, I mean, at some point you have to impeach and say, look, this is the right thing to do regardless of the political calculation. I do think the politics may or may not work out in the right way, but we're a country of laws. You have to enforce the laws.
Yeah, you think it could blow back on Democrats if it's not done?
Well, this is the trap. Anytime we're talking about Donald Trump is winning. And Democrats need an affirmative vision that people are just as excited about. Like, if the Democratic message is Donald Trump bad, impeach Donald Trump, then we're actually increasing the chances of him getting a second term.
All right, well, let's talk about one of your policies, because it's one of them that I love is very near and dear to your heart. Your 6-year-old son is on the autism spectrum. Talk to us about the impact he has had in your life and what this policy is.
Well, when my wife and I realized that he was autistic, it was actually a huge relief because we were first-time parents and we were struggling and we didn't know what was normal, what wasn't normal. I mean, we obviously are thrilled about our son and we're getting him the resources that are allowing him to thrive. But when I looked around the country, I mean, my wife and I are in a very fortunate position. There are 2 of us, and I thought about single moms whom I've met on the trail who have autistic children who grow to be autistic adults. And what message I have for the American people is that atypical is the new normal. I mean, we all have someone in our family or circle that is neurologically atypical, and we need to build schools and systems that accommodate them at every stage.
What do you mean you were relieved? I don't get that. What were you relieved about?
Well, we were relieved because we were first-time parents, and when we were struggling with our son, or our son was struggling, we're like, are we terrible parents? Like, what is going on?
So you were
You know how
relieved
many
to see there was an
you know how many
actual
people
diagnosis.
were in your same position?
Yeah.
I hear from so many people, and who knows? I have young. You never know what you're going to go through as a parent.
You
and
never
it's
know.
so real that you're talking about that on the campaign trail because it's relatable.
You also have over 150 proposals on very specific issues like paying college athletes, eliminating the penny.
Yes.
Eliminate the penny. It's annoying. And government rewards for coaching Little League or fixing a neighbor's appliance. Some of these are funny. Are these the most pressing issues, do you think?
Well, I was introducing myself to the American people. I still am.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to introduce yourself is by letting people know what your vision is and what you would do as president. So that involves solving problems big and small. I want to ban robocalls. Why are we letting... I mean, these are real problems. And so if we have solutions at the ready, we should be talking about them.
The penny, though.
Leave my penny alone. It's like moving Pluto. Leave the penny alone. Shouldn't have moved Pluto.
I didn't know you were so attached to the penny.
I'm very attached to the penny because the penny was how I learned how to count.
Oh, yeah. I know. Well,
so I am attached to it.
But now that you know.
I'm still not good. So we have 45 seconds.
Oh.
So what we're going to say is, congratulations on all your success, and we're going to continue to watch and, hope that you are able to build the kind of momentum that you need to go into the next, what is it called? Phase.
Are you in the next Democratic
I'm in the next
debate?
I'm already in the next debate. I'm preparing some zingers. I'm not doing that.
No, you don't.
And then the next debate, too, it looks like we're going to qualify as well.
I'm glad. Thank you, Andy. We will be right back.